Hello folks and welcome to an InkDependence.com brief video review and water drop test. Today, an ink from Tekker. You may have heard of Tekker ink. It's kind of new on the block. Comes in these big bottles. These are about 100 milliliters of custom ink. And you can get these on the interwebs for, now the price appears to be $14.95. When I got it, it was lower. I think it was like 12 or something. And I got 3 of these actually, so you'll be seeing these coming up. The thing about these inks is that they are custom, so you give them a hex code. In this case, let's see if the camera will focus on that. Yep, there you go. This is 0039A6. And the reason I called this SMU Blue, actually, here's the other thing you make up. Not only do you put in your own hex code, you also tell it what you want the name to be. In this case, this is the official hue of SMU, which is my alma mater. One of them anyway. My first one, my most beloved. So I decided to get the blue from them. They've also got a red, it's blue and red is the SMU colors, but I decided to go for this blue. So we'll see this in just a few minutes. And then these other two I got one that I called Smokin' Hot and one that I called Piazza Cake. My wife has a nail polish blog that is rightonthenail.com, and she had a couple of I was like, you know, what's a cool color is nail polishes. So we went and found a couple that we thought were interesting, and so I got this like neat orangey red, and this like very complicated purpley brown. It's very cool. Anyway, you'll see those soonish. I think these are totally worth the money. Also in that price range really are diamine inks and that sort of thing. So this is 80 mils of diamine, this is 100 mils of Tekker. You know, pretty solid product for the money. These bottles are pretty nice, very secure top. I haven't had any problems with mildew or any of that nonsense in my bottles, and I haven't heard anyone else has either. I guess they had to redo some of their stuff because they got a batch of ink that didn't have any, or a batch of components, I suppose, that didn't have any antifungals or whatever. But anyway, they do now, so this should be pretty safe. And I've had it in 2 pens. I've had it in this pen right here. Goodness, why is it so close? All right. I've had it in this pen right here, which is a Levenger True Writer Select. You've seen this one before if you've been watching my channel or looking at my blog. I quite like this pen. It's a medium. And also I've had it in this pen right here, which I have to send back now, unfortunately. This is a review sample, and there's nothing wrong with it, just it's somebody else's turn to play with this pen. This is the Montegrappa Fortuna Mule, the copper one you'll have seen around. Also, I just reviewed it not too long ago, so check out the blog or the channel to find that review. In short, I like this pen a lot. The nib is quite good. So is this one. I did them both in mediums, just because that's what I happen to have available to put inks in. But this is what that ink looks like, which is actually a very nice blue ink. It's a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be, and you can see that it's actually a bit lighter, I think, here in this swatch than it is in the writing samples. And I think that might just be because the pens are concentrating it more when you put it down. But, oh, performance. I didn't write anything in there. How is the performance on this? Well, I'll say it is very good. Good on 20 pound. And actually, I didn't even test this pen before I started writing with it. I haven't used this pen in probably 2 weeks, I would say at least, and it started right back up. So, no flow problems with this ink. I haven't had any problems with Tekker. The one time it did actually run scant in here, well, 2 times, I guess. One is when I handed it to my wife to say, how do you like this pen? And it was out of ink, so that's fine. And the other time is when I was reviewing this pen and I was just waving it around with just a bare nib and no cap for like 10 minutes. And then, yeah, it didn't work after that for a little bit. Had to, you know, prime it a little bit, but then it worked just fine. So, yeah, no flow problems with this ink at all. Really no sheen at all. It's not that kind of, Tekker doesn't do inks with sheen so far. No glitters so far, just solid colors. You know, whatever color you want. You just give them a hex code, and I've reproduced that here. So if you like this blue, you know, get that hex code, and you'll probably get something almost exactly like this. One thing to say about Tekker is that there is a little bit of lead time. It takes, I think what people have been saying on forums and such is about 2 weeks, and you really probably won't hear anything from them until until it's like in the mail. So I hope that that's a thing that Tekker will be working on as they grow, but right now it's a very small, very new sort of company, so I think they're a little bit scanty on the communication, but that'll pick up, I'm sure. And I hope this ink takes off, because I do actually like it quite a lot. It's a little bit on the wet side, I would say, judging by these 2 pens that I've used it in. I know them pretty well. There's a little bit of shading. You can see just a bit here-ish. I'll blow that up for you. I can see just a little bit of shading maybe, but yeah, not much. It's a pretty solid saturated color, and I like that a lot actually. So I was expecting. Oh, one word is I was expecting it to be a little bit lighter. And I think the reason it's darker is because this is actually kind of what that hex code looks like. I've looked it up in a few places, and it kind of looks like that. But I mean, it's going to depend on how much ink your pen puts down and all that kind of stuff. So you know, have a little bit of flexibility, but you will probably get something very like what you're looking for. Here it is next to a bunch of other blues. These are all dark blues that I had inked up in pens. Faber-Castell's Midnight Blue, which is the brand new one from them, came out a few months ago. I don't know, a couple months ago anyway. Cross Blue Black. This is Blackstone Barrier Reef Blue, which you'll have seen on the blog pretty recently. And then Mont Blanc's Tolstoy underneath that, which is actually kind of close to Barrier Reef Blue now that I look at it. I think Tolstoy is a little bit lighter. It's not quite, doesn't have the depth of Barrier Reef, but also it behaves a little bit better. So there you go. And then a little bit of black on the edge just to show, you know, comparison to a black thing. All right, so let's do a water test right quick. Where's my little syringy guy? Here it is. All right, so hi, Clipsy. I don't know if y'all could hear that, but that was my cat talking to me. There we go. I don't have a needle on this one, so I do it by hand. All right, so that's that. It looks like it's doing okay. I don't really expect any particular water resistance from this ink. None was advertised, so we're kind of going blind, see what we get here. It doesn't look like it's doing too badly, though. Honestly, I expected more bleed away. I guess is kind of right. I expected more of it to leave the page. Let's see what we get when we pull this up. I actually did okay. Huh. This Rhodia actually soaked up some of that water. That's interesting. Look at that. Didn't expect that. You don't often see Rhodia soak up water. I think maybe this little tiny a small number 14 pad is a little bit weaker than some of the other ones. But what are you gonna do? In any case, you definitely see a whole lot of this left over, and so I'm actually surprised. There's the paper towel. I'm actually surprised by the water resistance in this ink. It's pretty good actually. So yeah, a little bit of water resistance. Not really much smear. It kind of came off cleanly. Up here where it has the words, you can still totally see what that read. So yeah, cool. A little bit of minor water resistance. Good job, Tekker. All right. Here is the chromatography. You can see how it got this way over on the left-hand side of your screen. And you see down here at the bottom is all kind of violets and such bleeding up into this blue, and then like a nice, really beautiful like cerulean up at the top. You see this on a lot of blue inks. Is this very pretty light blue layer at the top of that, and I wish they would just make ink of that color. You know, what are you gonna do? So there you go. All right, so that's the chromatography. As far as the 20-pound stuff, I said that it worked well on 20-pound paper. Oh, that's a different one. There we go. This is the writing sample right here. Of course, this is Lamy Dark Lilac. Above it, we've already seen that one on the blog. Very nice purple. If you can get your hands on Dark Lilac, get some. But this is both of those writing samples, and then you flip it over, and you can see that Dark Lilac here actually bled quite a bit with one of the pens, but the Tekker just doesn't. I mean, you see a couple of spots here and there, and definitely some ghosting and stuff, but the rest of that you're just kind of seeing through the paper. You're not really seeing bleed. So that's really good. This is regular old Staples 20-pound copy paper stuff. Nothing very impressive, nothing very expensive. And of course, this works very well on more expensive stuff. So I don't know, let's do a little writing sample. I hear people like writing samples sometimes. So Tekker Ink. I think it's tekkerinc.com actually. This is how you will find your own Tekker Inks. Put in whatever hex code you like. You can just search up hex codes, and maybe you went to a school. If you probably went to a school. If you have a school that you want to like reproduce their school colors, you can usually do that. Look for their web page stuff. Usually, if they're like advertising stuff on the web, or if they're putting together instructions for putting together school websites, they'll have the color. So just look for the hex code. Hex code. Yeah. So this is actually a beautifully wet ink and dries very quickly. Actually, no real problems there. In fact, over at the left, you'll see a little video of when I did the smear on the front of this page, and you'll see that it actually dries pretty quickly. Even the smear dried up within, I don't know, 20 seconds or something, which is pretty good, especially on Rhodia. So, and this one, yeah, dry now. It's only been a few seconds. So, yeah, very cool. I definitely recommend this Tekker ink. I think it's very cool, and I think this could really shake up the old ink industry because now you can make whatever color you want. I mean, I've got that blue. This one, I don't actually know if you'll be able to tell what the color is. You probably can't really. When I show this one, I think people are going to be psyched about it. But they've actually got some, there's a little bit of ink on my finger there. Wipe that off, yeah. They've actually got quite a lot of depth in some of these colors. Look at that. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. Anyway, so you get quite a bit of money, quite a bit of ink for your $14.95 price, and it looks like the regular price is going to be $17.50. So you might jump in there kind of soon, kind of get on the ground floor of Tekker Inks. So there you go. That's it. This is Tekker Ink. I am Mike. This is inkdependence.com. If you'd like to help support this blog, please go over to patreon.com/inkdependence to find out how you can help, setting up a monthly donation, that sort of thing, of as little or as much money as you would care to help me out with. That'll go toward blog stuff, I promise. So there you go. That is Tekker. I'm Mike. This is Ink Dependence. Peace out.